Hello everyone, my name is Mini Sethi. I hope you all are staying healthy. Today we are going to talk about theories of international trade, especially for CA Foundation. First of all, we are going to talk about mercantilism theory of international trade. Mercantilism theory originated in 16th century, and mercantilism was dominant economic system in Europe from 16th to 18th centuries. According to this theory, wealth of any nation is decided by amount of gold and silver which they have. According to this theory, wealth of any nation is decided by amount of gold and silver which they have. That means increase in wealth means acquire more gold and silver. But how we can acquire more gold and silver? According to this theory, we can acquire more gold and silver by doing more export. Obviously, when we do our export, we sell our goods in another country. In return, they give us more gold and silver. That's why, according to this theory, we can acquire more gold and silver by doing more export. That's why primary goal of this theory, maximize export and minimize import. And government play important role to increase export and reduce import by imposing some rules and regulation. And this theory believe on zero sum game. What do you mean by zero sum game? That means one country receiving benefit at the loss of other country. Zero sum game means one country receive benefit at the loss of another country. You want to increase your export, but your export are import of another country. As we know, more import are harmful for all countries. So, you are receiving benefit at the loss of another country. It will be called zero sum game, and this theory believe in zero sum game. According to this theory, our balance of payment should always in surplus. Surplus balance of payment means our export should be more than our import. Next theory of international trade is absolute cost advantage theory. Absolute cost advantage theory is given by Adam Smith in his book named Wealth of a Nation. What do you mean by absolute cost advantage? Absolute cost advantage is ability of country to produce goods at lower cost as compared to another country. Absolute cost advantage is ability of country to produce goods at a lower cost as compared to another country. For example, Italy can produce high quality sports car at greater profit than Japan. And according to this theory, countries should increase production and export of those goods in which they have absolute cost advantage. Now we understand this theory with the help of one example. Here we have two countries, India and USA. They are producing only two goods, tea and melon. With 8 hours of labor, India can produce 20 units of tea. With the same 8 hours of labor, USA can produce only 5 units of tea. So we can say that India can produce tea more efficiently than USA. India have absolute cost advantage in production of tea. That's why India should increase production and export of tea. But USA have absolute disadvantage in production of tea. That's why USA should reduce production of tea and start doing import of tea from India. On the other hand, here you can see with 8 hours of labor, India can produce only 10 units of melon. But with the same 8 hours of labor, USA can produce 20 units of melon. So here you can see USA can produce melon more efficiently than India. USA have absolute cost advantage in production of melon. That's why USA should increase production and export of melon. But India have absolute disadvantage in production of melon. That's why India should stop doing production of melon and start doing import of melon from USA. Now we will see comparative advantage theory of international trade. This theory is given by David Ricardo. According to this theory, trade should be based on comparative advantage. According to this theory, trade should be based on comparative advantage. But how we can receive comparative advantage? We can receive comparative advantage by producing goods at a lower opportunity cost. According to this theory, we can receive comparative advantage by producing goods at a lower opportunity cost. What do you mean by opportunity cost? Opportunity cost means the loss of gain from another alternative when one alternative is chosen. Opportunity cost means the loss of gain from another alternative when one alternative is chosen. For example, in order to produce mobile, you give up production of a tablet, and opportunity cost of producing mobile is a sacrifice of income which you can receive from the sale of tablet, but now you can't because you chosen a production of a mobile, not a tablet. So we can say that opportunity cost means loss of gain from another alternative when one alternative is chosen. And according to this theory, trade should be based on comparative advantage, and we can receive comparative advantage by producing goods at lower opportunity cost. According to this theory, a country should increase production and export of those goods in which they have lower opportunity cost as compared to another country, but increase import and reduce production of those goods in which they have higher opportunity cost as compared to another country. We will clearly understand with the help of an example. We have two countries, USA and UK. They are producing two goods, mobile and tablet. USA either can produce 100 mobile or 200 tablet. UK either can produce 80 mobile or 100 tablet. First of all, we will see opportunity cost of producing 1 unit of mobile in both countries. In order to produce 1 mobile, USA has to sacrifice 2 tablets. So, opportunity cost of producing 1 mobile in USA is a sacrifice of 2 tablets. But in UK, in order to produce 1 mobile, they do sacrifice of 1.25 tablet. So here you can see UK have less opportunity cost for producing 1 unit of mobile. That's why according to this theory, UK should increase production and export of mobile. But USA has a high opportunity cost of producing mobile. That's why USA should increase import and reduce production of mobile. Now we will see opportunity cost of producing 1 unit of tablet. In order to produce 1 tablet, USA has to do sacrifice of 0.5 mobile, but UK has to do sacrifice of 0.8 mobile. So here you can see opportunity cost of producing 1 tablet is less in USA. That's why USA should increase production and export of tablet, but UK should stop, means reduce production and increase import of tablet. So we can say that according to this theory, a country should increase production and export of those goods in which they have lower opportunity cost as compared to another country, but increase import and reduce production of those goods in which they have a higher opportunity cost as compared to another country. Now we are going to talk about Hecksher-Ohim theory of international trade. According to this theory, international trade occurs because countries have different resources and specialization. For example, some countries are abundant in labor, but some countries are abundant in capital. According to this theory, countries those are abundant in capital but have a scarcity of labor as compared to another country, that country should increase production and export of capital intensive goods. Obviously, they are abundant in capital, but that country should reduce production and increase import of labor intensive goods because they have scarcity of labor. Now we understand Hecksher-Ohim theory with the help of one example. Here we assume we have two countries, Japan and China. They have only two resources, capital and labor. They are producing only two goods, automobile and textile. Automobile is capital intensive goods. That means in the production of automobile we use more capital. But textile is labor intensive goods. In the production of textile we use more labor. Japan have 100 capital and 200 labor. China have 20 capital and 1000 labor. Capital labor ratio of Japan is 0.5. That means Japan per labor have 0.5 capital and capital labor ratio of China is 0.02. That means China per labor have 0.02 capital. 0.5 is more than 0.02. That means Japan per labor have more capital. If Japan per labor have more capital, that means Japan is a capital abundant country. But China is a labor abundant country. If Japan is capital abundant country and automobile is capital intensive goods, that means Japan increase production and export of automobile but reduce production and increase import of textile. On the other hand, China is labor abundant country. That's why China should increase production and export of textile but reduce production of automobile and increase import of automobile. So this is all about theories of international trade. I think you got it, and thank you so much for watching this video. Bye, take care.